Good morning. If you are an avid gardener, you probably already discovered the meditative qualities of being in a garden. I like to come out here early in the morning. Part of my mindfulness and meditation practice is to sit here and look up at one of my plants and just appreciate how it's grown, how it grows. No better way to enjoy the foods that we eat than to nurture it ourselves. Feeding it, pruning it, planting it, and then finally harvesting. Well, I take great joy out of harvesting. Isn't that the whole point? I absolutely love the in-between stages of sowing the seeds when the fruits are just about to ripen, but not quite yet. And part of my mindfulness practice is to come out here and just observe and to touch the plants, noticing how many colors I can see. I see some green, some yellow, orange, maybe a combination of colors, all different sizes. Even maybe some of the ripe ones are not quite as big as on some unripened fruit. Why is it called a fruit? How did it get its name? This one is called Sweet Million. Where did that name come from? And how did that come to be? I happen to have a bowl full of ripened tomatoes that I picked earlier and washed. And a mindfulness eating practice might be to hold a piece in the palm of your hand, just feeling the weight of it, the texture, noticing the colors, how it glistens in the sun, and that it has actually a lot of different shades of reds and yellows and greens, and maybe even some translucent qualities to it. Some parts opaque, minor blemishes here and there. The part where the stem attached. Not detecting any smell, not like when I touch the branches, when I move them. I can even detect a familiar smell of tomatoes. And then placing one tomato on my tongue, resisting the temptation to bite it, just going to swirl it around in my mouth, in between my tongue and the roof of the mouth. Noticing if there's any flavors. Not really. But noticing how smooth it is. And then taking one nice squash in between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. Burst of juice. Some sweetness. Maybe even a little tartness. But mostly sweet. Let's take another squeeze in between the roof of the mouth and the tongue. More juice. Resisting the temptation to bite into it. Another squash. Noticing if I taste the sweetness in the tip of my tongue. Maybe a little tartness, sourness on the outer edges. Now I'm going to take one slow bite, just one bite. Hard to do. I want to chew more. I'm going to resist. Noticing the sound, the crunch in between the teeth, how the texture might have changed. Noticing the firmness in the skin now. Taking another bite. And continue to chew slowly. Noticing the flavors change as it travels towards the back of the tongue. Into the throat. Texture in between the teeth. Maybe more crunch, the sound that it makes. Sound is how we taste too. It can be really enjoyable, right? Especially if you're like me who enjoys really crunchy things like french fries or potato chips or popcorn. It's part of the pleasure, hearing it and feeling it. Let's try another one. Good thing I have a whole bowl full. Quite good. Yeah, nothing off the nose, so what if I took a little nibble out of it? Juicy. The sweetness right away. Subtle. But that very familiar tomato scent. Not as strong. Actually, maybe stronger when I just brush my hands against the leaves. Let's take another nibble. Juicy, chewy. Delicious. What memories, any emotions does this bring up? Maybe from your childhood? Maybe some recent memories. What emotions do you associate with this? Maybe joyful, pleasurable, happy, hungry. How many of these can you eat nice and slow instead of just popping them in your mouth? I may eat tomatoes differently now. Instead of just popping the whole thing, I kind of like it. It's kind of messy. I kind of like looking at the inside of it. The different colors, how juicy is it, seeing the seeds. It might be a new way for me to eat tomatoes. Well, thanks for joining me for this mindfulness eating meditation right here in the garden.